Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Crown in the F1 Calendar Principality. You can see we're already towards the end of qualifying. It looks like it's very much going to be a Ferrari 1-2. It's been a stunning lap from these guys. Some guys out there trying out new sets of tyres as well. And Nibbler rushing to a pole position here in the Principality. Will he take it or will it be his teammate? No, Nibbler takes it by 0.8 of a second ahead of his teammate. Dominant display immediately. Testameister lines up third, and a quite disappointing performance for Danny Ibn Lahar. Fifth isn't bad though, and we have some new faces here for the first time ever. Callum Spencer is joining for a one-off race, I believe. Dougie Afroman and Galactic Skull 2 in the Sauber return. And overall, a few new familiar faces. And it's pole in the Principality for the Australian. And how important will that pole position prove to be? So, here are your qualifying results. You can see dominant lap by Nibbler puts him in P1. Then it's a all-Italian third, fourth, fifth, with Testameister leading Ragnar and Danny Ibn Lahar. Subaru SEI Ryan will line up in P6, making it a triple Brit sandwich after the Italians. Then Destes comes in 9th, 10th, Anil Tanovich 11th. Kevin Jacobs making that an American sandwich on European filling. And Murcielago qualifies ahead of Callum Spencer and Nemesis Racing, who will not be racing today due to an injury. We all wish him the best of luck and the best of recovery here at Gaming Now and NORL. So get well soon, Val, and let's get on to some racing in Monaco. I'd like to apologise for the background noise. You're hearing is the controller for the microphone is charging, and it makes a little bit of feedback, but halfway in the race that should stop because the controller will have enough battery to get to the end. Kevin Jacobs saying he has a terrible qualifying lap. He's P11 now, so Kevin will have free choice of tyres. He can choose to start on the slightly harder tyres if he so wishes. So here we are then, getting ready for the formation lap here at Monaco. Nibbler will lead them away. Ferrari 1-2. Chaz are finally making a return to the grid. We'll show them just how it is done. And it's an all Hypersoft fifth. Very good lap by Subaru Ryan to get up in P6 and split the rest of the guys on Hypersofts. We'll have Dougie Afroman trying a similar strategy. Destes P9 will be the next Hypersoft after that. And then it's Anil Tanovich, everyone else on the super soft tyres. Now I'm hoping Monaco gives us a little bit of a shout fest, because we've had a little bit of 2 weeks of lackluster racing, we'll say, in the NORL. Now I'm hoping that Monaco will give us an opportunity to change that. Welcome along everyone to the stream. Shout out to Lord Jord from Danny G once again. The Lord Jord fan club, very loyal indeed. Very cool to see that. Testameister getting very close on the formation lap. And this man gets disqualified from the qualifying grid is Callum Spencer and Galactic Skull 2, both disqualified for hitting each other on the formation lap. And we're seeing for the first time the Saubers back in action. They didn't make it for Baku, so they've been outside of the league for a while. 2 weeks without any racing, it will feel like to them. And Callum Spencer making his debut this season. Kind of can see him as a wild card choice. As we line up on the grid then and get ready to go racing at Monaco. Lord Joe says he has his girlfriend racing today as well. No pressure whatsoever then. For the Mercedes, he's lining up in P7, probably his best qualifying of this season so far. So he's got it all to do, but we're focusing on the Ferraris that will lead them away here at Monaco. So here we get ready for 5 red lights. Who will get the better start out of the Ferraris? Looks like Nibbler does get the better start. We go thundering down into turn 1 immediately. No chaos unfolding just yet, but it's Monaco. There's always a slight chance of it. We have Lord Jord making contact with the Red Bull car there, but that's about the extent of the damage that we go through. So far up the hill they will come then. And it's Dougie Afroman leading from Destes on that battle for P8 and P9. Nibbler keeps his lead intact. The Renault, Danny Ibn Lahar making a good jump up into P4, gaining in position. Subaru Ryan made a good jump as well as Ragnar had an awful start. And you can see contact between Defstez and Lord Jod going into the hairpin, banging tyres as we go through the hairpin. The McLaren of Aneltanovic hitting the rear of Callum Spencer, I believe. No, he's hitting the rear of Defstez. Callum Spencer following Aneltanovic through as we go through the tunnel for the first time. What a beautiful sound that is coming through the hairpin. And it's still Nibbler leading from his teammate Chazza. Through the swimming pool section we will go for the first time. Subaru Ryan holding on to the two Renaults, doing a good job staying with them. Through the swimming pool section we go. Did Aneltanovic pick up any damage, I wonder, from when he tapped the rear of the Force India in the hairpin? We'll have to see, as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3, and Nibbler's retired from the section! Nibbler out! Nibbler's had a crash at Raskas, and there's a huge pile-up! That is absolutely unbelievable. We got a Red Bull that's spun around. He's reversed into the pack of the Sauber. There's nothing the Sauber could have done there. Subaru Ryan's out from the session as well. What an opportunity this was for the likes of Lord Jord and the rest of the guys that pitted there. Great play by those guys. Nibbler out on the very first lap caused a huge pile-up. Douglas Anderson, Dougie Alfreman, in all respect, will be absolutely furious, and I'll be surprised if Subaru Ryan doesn't pick up a penalty for reversing back into the pack there. Lord Job pitted, a very long pit stop. Defstez is coming out the pit lane, doing a little bit of a burnout. Is there a safety car deployed? Surprisingly, no safety car deployed then, and I am very shocked that there's been no safety car regarding that accident. Through the tunnel we'll go once more. Kevin Jacobs hits the inside wall, almost goes for a spin. Testermeister right up behind Kevin Jacobs for P8, hits the wall on the outside. That's not going to do his downforce any good. Looking for a way past the American. No way, Jose, this time. Through the hairpin we would go. It's not the hairpin, sorry, the chicane. What happened there? That was just an absolute mess. And the man we're used to seeing not cracking under pressure has cracked bigger than at any point this season. Callum Spencer into the wall. Kevin Jacobs gets a little bit of a sniff. Now Testermeister actually hits him. And is he going to get 2 in 1? No, because Callum Spencer pits. That was close. Kevin Jacobs will follow Callum Spencer into the pits. We got a whole train of cars in the pit lane for repairs. Aneltanovic leads them in then. The Sauber comes in. The Haas comes in. The Force India comes in. Red Bull in as well. Absolute chaos in the pit lane. And it's a double stack for the Saubers. Bad timing as they get to work on repairing that. Aneltanovic has been held, and Aneltanovic is stuck until the Saubers get to work at double stacking because he has no way to be released. And Aneltanovic drops all the way down to last because of that Sauber double stack. That is a nightmare for him, but it's a beautiful day if you're a fan of Chazza. So Lord Job made a good position of 2 gains. Due to those pit stops, Aneltanovic leaves the pit now, and it's Galactic Skull 2 who comes out in last in the end. Rest of lap 1 to unfold. The gap of 9 tenths is Murcielago chasing down Callum Spencer. We'll have to see if the Red Bull can make an impression on the Force India. Murcielago trying to close in, mounts that curve just a little bit too much. Now, was that front wing damage from the Force India? Something fell off there. Don't know if he quite saw it, but something fell off that Force India. And I can't quite tell. We'll try to have a look on these cameras. Does that Force India have an end plate missing? No, the Force India looks good. So unless he's just run over someone else's front wing from the early lap chaos, no damage on that Force India. Through the hairpin they go then. Chazza leads by a whopping 10 seconds, and I'm really surprised there was no safety car. Begs the difference is... oh, Murcielago's had a big accident! Aneltanovic will be the next to find out. Murcielago's out of the race in a very similar crash to Fizzy Keller in Monaco. Very much out, and still no safety car, so it begs the question, is safety car even turned on? Don't think it is. Either that or it's still glitched. Aneltanovic comes into pit lane. What happened to Anel? He's in the pit lane for a second time, and it looks like this time it is for more damage. He's going onto the Hypersoft tyres. Did he change the front wing? No. So Anel wants to get back on the Hypersofts. And is it a stop-go penalty? Because he's not being released. I'm not sure what's happening to Aneltanovic. Absolute nightmare in the pit lane there. Danny Ibn Lahar is closing in on Ragnar. Ragnar's actually gained 2 net positions after all that chaos, despite losing 3 positions off the grid. What a crazy start to this race. Nibbler, after taking pole by 8 tenths of a second in utter disbelief, crashing out on lap 1. And what a crazy domino effect it's had. Ragnar got to get out of jail free card. A nice power slide from Lord Jord out of Raskas there. That was pretty pleasant to look at. And we've got the grid very fanned out after that crazy. And we said we wanted something to shout about. And Nibbler cracking under pressure for the first time this season. And what an effect on this race it's had. So let's have a look at the gaps. What is the closest gap? It is the 2.8 second gap between Callum Spencer and Dougie Aframan. Now, is that gap extending or is it being decreased by Callum Spencer? We'll keep an eye on it over the next few laps and just see what he can do. He gains a tenth here, loses a tenth there. He hit that apex on the inside pretty hard, so he will lose some time there. Nibbler apologising in the chat for the pile-up that ensued after that. Certainly mixed things up. Danny Ibn Lahar then is in the pits on lap number 6 for what I assume will be his first scheduled pit stop. Now, who will follow him in? Who will bite as he goes onto the super soft tyres, assuming to go to the end of the Grand Prix on? Subaru Ryan leaves the session. He's seen enough, and it's a double stack from Renault. Both Renaults pitting on lap 6 then. Oh, and it's a front wing change for the Renault. So that Renault's picked up front wing damage somewhere on his lap. That's going to cost him time in that pit stop. But he looks like he's got to the end. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3 again. Surely not another accident. And it does look like an accident. Kevin Jacobs been in the wall somewhere. He's got a very wounded Haas that he's got to take back to the pit lane. That's going to bring Galactic Skull 2 into play. If Galactic Skull 2 doesn't go into the wall himself. Bloody hell. What a crazy set of racing. Meanwhile, Callum Spencer's found himself at Dougie Aframan. Brought that gap to within a second. Dougie's made a mistake somewhere on this lap. That's bringing the Force India into play. Down towards the hairpin they come. Dougie Aframan had a bad ending to Baku. He'll want to make sure he minimises any risk here and try get some points that he also desperately needs. After a result of what happened through the tunnel we go then. Callum Spencer chasing Dougie Aframan. Down to the hairpin. Laid on the brakes for Callum Spencer. A lot later on the brakes. Dougie Aframan's on the super soft tyres. So he's going to have a lot less grip, but he looks like he can go longer into the stint. Danny Ibn Lahar is in the pits again for the second time. Now, why is that? We saw Anel Tanovic do a similar thing. They pit for a front wing change. So it looks like Danny Ibn Lahar has had a crash somewhere on this lap, which has forced him back into the pits. Callum Spencer right up behind now. The rear wing of Dougie Aframan looking to move to the inside. And we said he'd minimise risk, and it looks like Dougie Aframan has just let Callum Spencer through. Realises that the Force India is faster at this stage in the race on those tyres and lets him through. And that is up to P5 for Callum Spencer, making it a Force India 4-5. So on to another lap we go then. Surely Callum Spencer will pull away from Dougie Aframan now on those new hyper tyres. He's actually caught his teammate. What's going on with Defstez? It's that synchronised swimming from the Force Indias. That's very bizarre, but that Force India was going so slow. We got a yellow flag in sector 2 though, and that's for Galactic Skull 2, who's gone straight on, just like Nico Rosberg did in qualifying here. And a mistake from the Sauber sees him drop all the way. Now Dougie Aframan looking to try interfere with Defstez's plans after he's slowed down to let his teammate through. Dougie Aframan's looking to compromise on that because it's a scruffy lap from Defstez. He's really struggling to keep this Force India in check. But now they got the hungry, very quick Renaults closing in behind them. Defstez pits, so he must have damage. And now Testomeister will surely pull off a similar move to what Callum Spencer did on the inside. How much risk does Dougie Aframan want to take? How much risk does Testomeister want to take? Not enough to make the move in turn 1. Dougie Aframan cuts turn 1. Will likely get a warning for that. Is that a front wing change or was it just a scheduled stop? I think it was just a scheduled stop. So I'm assuming Defstez's tyres went straight off the cliff. Oh, and look how close Testomeister is. Almost pushing him through the casino square. Down into the Rosberg corner we go, and then up to Lowe's hairpin. Now, how close is this going to be? Is he going to send it up the inside? No, the car's too wide. Not prepared to risk that. And his next opportunity will be through the tunnel. And how hard will he fight Dougie Aframan? How hard will Dougie Aframan fight Testomeister? Who will get the better launch then? Here we go, down the tunnel. Slingshot engage. Through we go. Is he going to have enough overrun to go down the inside? It certainly looks like it. Up the inside he goes. Dougie Afroman squeezing him out of the line, no. And no biscuits for Testo Meister here today. Not sure why biscuits are on offer, but they are. Daniil Ibn Lahar closing in through the swimming pool section as well. Still looking for a way past Dougie Afroman. Dougie Afroman holding these guys up something fierce, and it's going to get messy soon. If these guys get impatient, we've seen what happens when you get impatient around Monaco. Got to be oh so careful, because now his teammate's involved as well, and you definitely don't want to get your teammate involved in an accident like that. Now, will he get the run into turn one and take it this time? Dougie Afroman closes the inside door, and they'll stay behind for until... Oh, very big slide, almost into the wall, and that's what we were just talking about in terms of impatience. That could have gone so much worse than it did. And he's just looking for a way at any opportunity to send it down the inside. Is this the opportunity? It's late. It pushes Dougie Afroman off the line, but now he's going to try go around the outside of the hairpin. Dougie Afroman lets him through, but then looks like he hits the rear of the Renault. The Renault hits him, and Callum Spencer's gone around out of the hairpin. Bloody hell, we said Monaco wouldn't disappoint. He's lost his front wing completely trying to three-point turn. That all of that effort by Force India. And now Danny Ibn Lahar looking to make the move on the Sauber as well. Now Dougie will hold the inside line and force him off it again, because we got yellow flags in Sector 3 now as well. What is that for? We had Anel Tanovic come into the pits. And it doesn't look like Danny Ibn Lahar has been able to make the move on the Sauber just yet. Anel Tanovic back in the pits. Hits Dougie Afroman, though does Danny Ibn Lahar. Hits him twice and shoves him out of the way. And I'm sure that'll be a steward's investigation, because he was hit twice on that lap. And I'll be surprised if he didn't pick up damage himself, because I think Dougie Afroman definitely did. And Dougie will be furious. He's been rammed out of contention there. Def says, meanwhile, still hasn't caught on overtaking his teammate, despite his teammate having no front wing. Teammate now will get in the pits and get out of the way. And away they'll go around Monaco, claiming another victim then early on. Chazza still leads by a whopping 27 seconds, yet to pit though. Lord Jord up into a podium position. Such has been the chaos of this race. And the Renault's back up into 4th and 5th and will begin hunting that Mercedes down to try get a podium away from him. We have Dougie Afroman leaving the pits, Callum Spencer leaving the pits, and we saw a car in the background there as well. That's Chazza coming into the pits finally then. And we'll see just how much of an undercut Ragnar was able to pull off. It won't be much, but it will be enough to put a dent in the lap time, I think. So leaving the pit lane goes Chazza, and Ragnar's just at the end of the hairpin. We got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Surely we are not about to lose another car. We can't quite see who it was. Whoever's got... Luckily, whoever it was has got away with it and got themselves sorted out pretty quickly. To Lord Jord, P3. 5.5 seconds behind. Carl Spencer's 1.5 behind Kevin Jacobs. We'll keep an eye on that gap. That'll likely be the closest gap we're going to see for a while. So we'll watch them and see how far they can come. Ooh, Lord Jord almost getting it wrong and going off into the barriers. He's going to lose some time to Ragnar as a result of that. So let's go and have a look what tyre everyone's on now. You can see Chaz has gone back on the Ultra Softs. Ragnar opting for the Super Soft. So you can see who's trying to do a one-stop and who's arguably trying to do a two-stop or a very optimistic one-stop. Callum Spencer, meanwhile, has closed right in on the back of Kevin Jacobs coming into Raskas. Will he send it up the inside? No, he won't, because Kevin shuts the door. If he wants it, he's going to have to do it into turn one. A little bit of a push from Callum Spencer, just trying to make the gap as small as possible onto this straight. Now he gets DRS and will pull side by side with Callum Spencer. Callum Spencer looking to the outside to get a move done. Switches to the inside, makes contact with Kevin Jacobs. The two bang wheels, and they got a leader coming up behind them. Now they'll drag up the hill into the casino up to the casino section. Is he going to try go around the outside? Surely not. Kevin Jacobs closes the door. Looking for the inside, but forced to the outside. Callum Spencer weaving this way and that way. Kevin Jacobs has the line and he intends to keep it. And Callum lets Chazza through. Now, is he going to try and use this blue flag to his advantage? Because Kevin is going to, at some point, have to let the Ferrari through. Now, where's Kevin going to do it? Because Callum's going to do what Max Verstappen did in 2014 and just try to follow the Ferrari through. But Kevin's still not getting out of the way for the leader. Now, where's he going to let the leader through? Slows down. There he goes. Now, Callum Spencer tried to follow the Ferrari, but Kevin played it smart and knew where to stop it. Nibbler claims his team is on a comfortable one-stop, but look at the run Callum Spencer got out of that corner, up the inside the swimming pool section. What a move by Callum Spencer. Galactic scored 2 pits. So Nibbler says that his teammates on a comfortable one-stop strategy. So that gives us a little bit of insight as Galactic Skull pitched for some more front wing repairs. We don't really have any small gaps. Now, Kevin Jacobs will get ahead of Galactic Skull. Anil Tanovic has had a mare. He's all the way back in last. He's had pretty much 3 stops already. How many stops has he had? Let's have a look. 3 stops for Anil Tanovic already. 13 laps into the race. It's really been a bad run. Meanwhile, Galactic Skull 2 has just been lapped by Ragnar, so that's not a realistic gap to look at. In terms of actual on-track gaps, the smallest gap is Kevin Jacobs and Cal Spencer still. Kevin Jacobs trying his best to close in on Callum Spencer, but Callum Spencer is pulling away, and I'll have to make sure he doesn't lose time to Galactic Skull 2 behind. We'll see how that works out for him, but it is Chazza comfortably leading the way coming up to lap 13. Doesn't look like anyone's going to challenge Chazza here today. Could have had a tight Ferrari battle on our hands, but it's all gone wrong for Nibbler, as you saw on the first lap, which caused a huge lap 1 pile-up. Both Red Bulls are out. Chazza sets the fastest lap to boot, just to reinforce my point. Galactic Skull 2 has found about a second of Kevin Jacobs. We'll keep an eye on that gap, because I think he's going to arrive on the scene of the Haas in the not-too-distant future. Nibbler angry with himself, and you can't blame him. Unfortunately for Nibbler, sometimes these things happen. Monaco of all tracks is probably the track it was most likely to happen on as well, but you can reset and come back for next week. In the nicest possible way for us as viewers, it does make the championship a bit more interesting. So it's good for the views, but I can understand from a driver's perspective as well, being a driver myself in other leagues, then yeah, I can see it really annoying, but you can come back next week and you know you can do it, so it's over, what's done is done, and just practice for the next one. Meanwhile, Galactic Skull is taking chunks out of Kevin Jacobs. That's because Kevin Jacobs has just been lapped by Ragnar and has brought the gap to under a second for the Sauber. The 2 Ferrari-powered cars making their way through the swimming pool section. Callum Spencer picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane into Raskas. Callum Spencer gets that penalty. Galactic Skull 2 tries to go around the outside of Kevin Jacobs. Didn't happen on that time. Now, DRS down the front straight. Where will Galactic Skull 2 make the move if he can? Can he go around the outside? No, he can't. Thought about a dummy, but Kevin Jacobs was all the wiser. And what a race Kevin Jacobs had in Spain, and it's not really come together for him in Monaco. Round the casino section we go. Very close stuff between the Sauber, and Altanovic does pass, just past Callum Spencer coming out the pit lane as well. Coming into the hairpin, they both go a little bit wide. Galactic Skull 2 followed him. Going to almost push him through the hairpin as they make their run there. Callum Spencer very close, hassling the back of Anil Tanovic into the swimming pool section. Now, is there going to be a move here from Callum Spencer? No, not through the hairpin. Wiser than that. Meanwhile, speaking of moves, going through the tunnel section is the Sauber and the Haas. Is Galactic Skull going to make a move anywhere? No, he's not. Now, we saw Callum Spencer get a very good run out of this corner. Can he get a similar one? Yes, he can. A very good run for Galactic Skull, but doesn't want to go up the inside. Meanwhile, these two dragging side by side going into the hairpin. Callum Spencer looking to the outside. Now the inside, like Daniel Ricciardo will try, send it up the inside. Anil Tanovic is wider, and Callum Spencer hits that inside wall. Gets away with it. Could have spun around there. That could have been bad. That could have been very bad. We've got yellow flags, and that's for Kevin Jacobs in the wall. Now, did he make contact with Galactic Skull 2, I wonder? And Kevin really should have pitted there. I think if he's got down... Ooh, Anil Tanovic is lagging. Jesus, I thought we were about to see another DNF there. That would be scary if you count Spencer. Now, Callum's got another car to lap, but luckily Anil Tanovic gets out of his way and will make his 4th stop of the day. Lord George is coming up to lap Kevin Jacobs. That should be smooth sailing, but we've seen Kevin Jacobs likes to pick his spots to let the leaders through. He didn't let Chazza through immediately. Does let Lord George through quite easily into the Rosberg corner. We'll call it, because I'm not sure the name of it. If I can't think of the name, I apologise. Galactic Skull 2, very wide out of the hairpin. Chazza still leads by 14 seconds over Ragnar. And Chaz can't race next week according to his teammates, so that will be good news for Nibbler. Meanwhile, Dougie Afroman has passed Defstez because Defstez is pitting for a new front wing and a new set of ultra soft tyres, I believe those are. Can't quite tell, they might be hypers, but I believe they're ultras. Now, Galactic Skull 2 did look like he just had a... Ooh! Speaking of accidents, Callum Spencer doing some drifting in the Harbour chicane. Not a good debut for him. Galactic Skull 2 comes into the pits as well. Now, will Kevin Jacobs... Kevin Jacobs has got front wing damage. Kevin Jacobs is going to stick with the front wing damage and try to do his utmost. And what happened to Cam Spencer? I wish we could get replays. Unfortunately, it's just not possible. Metri finally leaves. He's had enough. Galactic Skull 2 gets a new front wing. So I reckon he did make contact with Kevin Jacobs in Raskas. Now, Callum Spencer's half spin at the hairpin, the Harbour chicane, sorry, will bring Galactic Skull 2 into play for later in the race. Ooh, wide for Danny Ibn Lahar for his sector 1, because he was lapping a car coming out the pits. He was lapping a Galactic Skull coming out the pits. Danny having to take an extra risk there. Now, what's the smallest gap we have on track? It is this 5.9 second gap between Callum Spencer and Kevin Jacobs. And we'll just see how Callum Spencer can push over the next few laps to close in on Kevin. Pushing hard. How aggressive does he... Because he's spun on this corner a few times. Doesn't get too close to it this time. Decides to be braver. Up to the swimming pool section. Ooh, looks to the inside. Through the swimming pool section they come. Lord George picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty. It was going so well for him. And he's just sped into the pit lane and been penalised. And he's taking a new front wing as well. Now he's going to lose that podium to Tesla. Ooh, what is going on here? That's going to help Lord George. Testameister goes up into turn 1. Mirabur. Thanks, Zach, for looking that one up for me, because I don't believe you knew that off by heart. Cam Spencer has found Kevin Jacobs through the Casino Square. Ooh, yay. He'll be very lucky to get away with no damage there. Lord George gets another penalty for crossing the pit lane line. He's just picked up 10 seconds worth of penalties in one lap. That will rule him out of any podium contention today, and he'll be kicking himself for that one, I'm sure. So Callum Spencer made a move in a very obscure place on Kevin Jacobs. Regardless, he's pulling away now because Kevin does have front wing damage anyway. Lord George is only 2.7 behind Danny Ibn Lahar, who has just lapped Galactic Skull 2. We'll see if Lord George can minimise that, but with 10 seconds worth of penalties, I don't think he's looking at a third place anymore. Through the tunnel then, 2.1 seconds is Lord George gets to Danny Ibn Lahar. Galactic Skull 2 lets him through, and no, we've got yellow flags. Who is it for? No one. They've sorted themselves out. I think it was just for Dougie Afroman. Sorry, for Galactic Skull 2 for letting the car through, get into a slur when the game registered as a yellow flag. It's so scary when you get yellow flags. Lord George bottled, but not as hard as me, so he's okay, says Nibbler. He did bottle it massively. I don't want to rub salt in the wound, so I'm not going to say anything regarding your accident. But he can still get a good 5th place, I think, is possible if he can. I don't think he's going to outclass the Renaults now. I think that's going to be too difficult. But he could still get a good 5th place. I think he's got more than enough of a gap to 6th to get a top 5 today. But 10 seconds worth of penalties in one lap, one pit stop. It's pretty brutal. Danny leaves the pit lane, 20 seconds behind Lord George. He'll have to get to work. If he can get within 10 seconds of course. Ooh, not if he does things like that. That was close. That could have ended in absolute nightmare fuel. Dougie Afroman is behind Danny Ibn Lahar, but quite comfortably in favour of Danny at this stage in the race. Dougie's on much older tyres and is quite still a way back and is losing time. So comfortable Danny Ibn Lahar at the moment. But that is the closest gap we got on track, and it is fading though, so what a beautiful shot of the Defstez car speeding through the casino section. That was very satisfying to watch, throwing it up and around. Chaz is struggling on his tyres. Is something we should be looking for, according to his teammate. Thank you for that information. We'll have to see when he pits, because he's on 9-lap-old ultras. And he's trying to do the one stop. Then that's going to be very tough if he does go on the one stop, because if they're struggling now, he's still got 19 laps to go. That's going to be brutal. Insider man giving us all the information we need. That's brutal. If he's going to do 19 more laps on them ultras, then Ragnar's definitely going to come at him towards the end, I think. So, looking around the rest of the field, we have no really close laps apart from Galactic Skull 2 closing in on Kevin Jacobs once again. That's the next battle we can hope for. Well, there's not much to commentate on at the moment because the gaps are so spread wide. So Galactic Skull 2 is the only one closing at the moment, and he's following Lord Jord. Very wise by Galactic Skull 2 here. He's going to try follow Lord Jord, keep getting the DRS from Lord Jord for one thing. But when Lord Jord comes up to lap Kevin Jacobs, Galactic Skull will use that to his advantage. You can see Kevin just up the road there, going through the casino section at the moment. Galactic Skull really doing his best to stay with a Mercedes. Is a wise strategy. Very similar to what, like we said earlier, Max Verstappen did this in 2014 to pass, I believe, a Lotus by following the leader, letting the leader through, then following him until he overlapped and trying to follow the leader through. That's basically what Galactic Skull 2 is trying to do. Now, where will Kevin let through Lord Jord? Because Galactic Skull 2 is right there, of course, and it looks like Kevin's opting to let him through now. Oh, Kevin Jacobs still fighting it on the outside. Gets shoved out of the way for his issues. And I mean, he should have let off the throttle, but he's tried his best not to lose any time to Galactic Skull 2. Very much risk being taken out there and taking out Lord Jord. Kevin Jacobs a little bit wide through the swimming pool section. That's going to upset him for the next section. Now Galactic Skull 2 all over him, but just not prepared to put his car in a dangerous position. Got off the throttle very early. And through onto the start-finish straight we go. DRS then for the salvo of Galactic Skull 2. Callum Spencer leaves the session, and that's a disconnection because Callum Spencer's car is still going. He can rejoin and take his car back over, but it's a disconnection. He should be able to get back in and continue with his merry little way, and his AI will just drive for him for now. He doesn't have to worry about losing time to these two, because these two are about to do their own battle. Galactic Skull 2 looking for the inside. This will be a good move into mirror move. He can do it. No. Galactic Skull 2 cut off by Kevin Jacobs. Did a hairpin anything? No, too far back. But he goes for the wider line to try and get the better exit. Kevin Jacobs hits the outside wall. Kevin Jacobs carrying front wing damage still from when these two had coming together at Raskas a few laps ago. That's a very good run for Galactic Skull 2. Side by side through the hairpin. Kevin Jacobs tyres, no match for Galactic Skulls. Easy peasy. Job done. Galactic Skull 2, and he'll leave Kevin Jacobs in the dust, who is on 17 lap-old supers, and they're going to be very, very icy. Meanwhile then, what else do we have going on? Death Stairs, 5 seconds behind Dougie Aframan. Is he catching? He's gained 2 tenths through here. Does he gain again, or does he lose? Let's find out. 4.8 is the gap, 4.9, lost a tenth. So very much trading away then with Dougie Aframan, but that's now our new closest gap when you consider that Galactic Skull 2 is just going to pull away. Anel Tanovic is in the pits again for his 4th stop. This will tally up to his 5th stop today. It's just been a nightmare. And is it a front wing change again? It is. Is he going to just run out of front wings at this point? 5 stops today from Anel Tanovic. I'm surprised he's got any front wings left. A nightmare for Anel, and that's a nightmare. Galactic Skull 2's put it in the wall. Struggled to get off the wall, and now he's going very slowly indeed. Gets going again. What happened there? Drama. Nemo Destes has brought the gap to 3.7. Nibbler says there'll be a battle at the front soon. There it is. It's 5.7 seconds. It's worth keeping an eye on it. Callum Spencer pits. However, Destes has found a 1.5 seconds, now 2 seconds on Dougie Aframan. Dougie Aframan on 13 lap-old ultras, Destes on 7 lap-old supers. They'll be with him in a matter of time. Now, Nibbler says that Chazza has lost a bit of front wing. We can't see it visually. It must be a small piece, but if he's lost it, that's still a downforce deterrent, because he's actually very close to being unlapped. And it looks like, is that Testomeister? No, it's Danny Ibn Lahar is close to unlapping himself here. Such is the damage. Galactic Skull 2 in for a new front wing. That's what happened there. 2.5 seconds, 2.2 seconds between Defstairs and Dougie Afroman now. Very interesting. Now, is Danny going to unlap himself? He's still right there. Now, this is costing Chaz a time. If these two end up battling, then Ragnar's going to have a big grin on his face, because that'll bring him into play. Now, is Danny going to fire it up the inside? Now, how much is Danny prepared? Because if he takes out the leader, that's a big penalty coming his way. And he's looking desperately, looking for some way past. 1 second, this is the gap now between Defstairs and Dougie Afroman. Looks like it's about to be a done deal, and he'll have an opportunity into Mirabar, I'm sure. Now, Danny Ibn Lahar, will you unlap yourself? Because this is the opportunity if you're going to. That'd be interesting. Is Chaz just going to let him go? He might as well. There's no point in battling a car that's not the position. It's very much like the story of Le Mans, when a car comes to unlap itself like that. Sometimes it's just not worth fighting, and wise choice. Defstairs, meanwhile, has sent it up the inside and got it past Dougie Afroman. So good move by Defstairs up into P6. Takes that away from Dougie Afroman, who hits that wall and loses a chunk of front wing. Just to add to his woes, into the wall he went. And I saw a big chunk of front wing come off the Sauber there. 1.6 seconds is the gap between Ragnar and Chazza after Danny Ibn unlapped himself. That caused a little bit of drama in him losing time. And if Nibbler's missing, sorry, not Nibbler, if Chazza's missing some front wing. Callum Spencer says that his data is corrupted. That is not good. Not good at all. You had a good race up until then. You had some interesting moments, but at least you got in there with a good few overtakes and maybe a bit of experience for a full-time seat in F1 2019, potentially. Ragnar's within a second now of Chazza then. This is, well, the battle we've been wanting to see. Going through. Callum, if you had any extra invites before the race started, you can use them. Meanwhile, Lord Jord extends his penalty tally up to 13 seconds. I would invite you, but I can't invite you from while the race is going on. There's not an option to do that for me as a spectator, so unfortunately. If you have any old invites that you didn't use, you can try use them, and they should get you in. Meanwhile then, DRS up, because your AI is still going around. Going through turn one then. Right, here we go. 0.6 of a second between Ragnar and Chazza. Up through the casino section. It's going to be close. This is the battle for the lead, so he's got to pick his moment. Cal Spencer rejoins the session. Will be able to take his car out on lap 8. I'm sorry, position 8. Ragnar looking for a way past. Danny Ibn Lahar's getting involved with someone up ahead as well. Is that for position? I'm not sure, but he looks like he's unlapping himself while this battle's going on in front of him. Chazza locks the front right. Ragnar then will have his first opportunity going through the tunnel. Will he be able to send it up the inside? It'll be from a long way back. We got a yellow flag for sector 3. We lost another car from the session. I really hope not. Going through the harbour chicane, and it was Danny Ibn Lahar lapping. Now Kevin Jacobs gets out the way, does well to stay out the way and not get involved there. Chazza getting a little bit loose through the swimming pool section. Ragnar looking like he's suffering with a bit of understeer through the swimming pool section. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. Galactic Skull has had a little bit of a crash coming into the harbour chicane. Coming up for lap number 28. Going down the front start, finish straight, DRS surely for Ragnar. Is he going to try it, or is he just going to follow Chazza? Is he going to try it? Thought about it. Didn't have the confidence to do it. These guys both on super old tyres, bear in mind. Chazza has been struggling with overheating tyres for the last few laps, and then lost a bit of front wing just to boot. Anything in Mirabar from Ragnar? Nothing doing. Chazza does make a big lockup though. That's going to allow Ragnar to at least get a smell of blood to see if he can pass the scarlet red Ferrari through the next section, getting ready for the tunnel into the harbour chicane. He goes for the wide line to set himself up for a better run. That's a good setup from Ragnar. He will now drag using the slipstream down, going into the harbour chicane, looking to the outside. Anything? looking for around the outside. That'll turn to the inside. That'll be a good move, but he cuts the chicane. Is he going to keep that position or concede it? He gives the position back, but he didn't want to risk contact with Chazza. It got very argy-bargy, elbows out. Does someone know how to take control of my AI, says Caleb Spencer. If anyone knows that, let me know. I don't know if that's a thing. Out of Raskas they come down the start-finish straight once again then. Battle number 2. Is he going to lunge up the inside? He's into Toro Rosso. We've seen Toro Rosso's make lunges like that. Does lunge. Not to make the move though, just to close the gap under braking. 0.5 of a second, and such are the stakes of the Monaco Grand Prix that these guys are taking it so carefully. Anything in Mirabeau? No, not yet. Through Mirabeau they go. Into the low hairpin. Anything this time? No, it's not. But Chazza locking up constantly. He's going to be making a right mess of that tyre. Through the slow section they go now. Now Ragnar likes to set up a wide line. Does he do it again? Yes, he does. And that will give him the drag. And he wants to be on the inside this time. He was on the outside, forced to cut the chicane as a result. Through the tunnel section we go, and he's on the outside once again, and surely Chaz is going to squeeze him out, but he goes for a long break, and he cuts the chicane again, and that's going to allow Chaz to get, surely he's going to concede that, right? Ragnar's continuing on, he cut the chicane to make the move, and he's not conceding it. Ragnar's not conceding that position, he cut the chicane to make the move. That's controversial to say the least. That will be investigated, I'm sure. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. What is that for? Anil Tanovic is bouncing off the wall. It could be for that. No accidents, though, visible. Ragnar leads then after cutting the chicane. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Who's had an off? I really can't see who it is. I'm not sure. Someone's had an off. Not sure. Anil Tanovic struggling, though. He's under a lot of pressure from the Sauber now. Galactic Skull looking for a way by. Anil Tanovic this time. Is he going to go for the move? It's going to be close. Anil Tanovic has had a lot of stops for damage today, but he's on well, not brand new, but he's on much younger Hypersofts, looking to go around the outside of Laos hairpin. Never going to happen in a month of Sundays. He'll have to do it through the tunnel section if he wants to. Now he needs to set up the wide line, but he doesn't. He goes for a tight line, and that's going to allow Anil to sprint down a little bit. But we'll see just how much Galactic Skull is able to give for the tunnel. They both hit the wall. Careful, boys. That's how you DNF around Monaco. Closes up under braking through the harbour chicane. They come, gets a better run. But Anil Tanovic's car is parked on the line. Nothing Galactic Skull can do but wait. Through the swimming pool section we go. Galactic Skull into the wall. Through understeer and more understeer and more understeer and into the wall. Very lucky not to DNF. Cuts the next corner. Surely lots of front wing damage. We'll see. That Galactic Skull 2 will have to pit. And how it can all go wrong in the blink of an eye around Monaco. Lively discussion going on in the chat. We'll have to see what the stewards believe of Ragnar. I think that he did complete the move off the circuit. What the circumstances were, we didn't have the best view, but the stewards will review that many a time. We'll have to see what the stewards say. Mixed opinions in the chat. And there goes a fast Renner lapping. The Salbridge comes out pit lane. Ragnar cuts the chicane again, this time through unforced error. Either way, he'll get a warning for that. And he's slowing down. Now, why is Ragnar slowing down? What is going on with Ragnar? Ragnar slow, lets Chazza by. Does he speed up? He does, so Ragnar gives the position back several laps later. And it looks like Ragnar decided after a few laps, it was decided that maybe he just wants to play it safe. Did he cut the chicane and do that? But he gives the position back a few laps later to not take the risk, and all things are amended when it's all said and done, and I'll have to do it again the proper way this time. Ragnar doesn't risk a penalty then, gives the position back a few laps. Maybe he just consulted with the stewards. Maybe he put up and the line up to Nemesis and said, look, do I have to give that back? And Nemesis might have clarified that he did and gives the position back. Oh, but on the inside of the low hairpin, that's not a move you usually see, and Chazza's been banged up against the wall. We'll lose a little bit of front wing. Chaz has lost a lot of front wing on the left-hand side. A lot of front wing missing on the Ferrari after that move. Forced him into the wall. It got very argy-bargy. Chaz has got no front wing on the left-hand side. Surely going to have to pit, or he's going to have an absolute nightmare. That could bring Testameister into play. Chaz is going to suffer with an absolute boat for the next few laps until he decides to pit. If he does, if he goes to the end like this, he's going to understeer all over the place, and Testameister is closing, and he's hungry. Now, what does Chaz do here? If he pits, he will come out ahead of Testameister, but any chance of a win is gone, and he has to pit. There's just damage to continue. Chaz pits after a move in the low hairpin, sees him forced into the wall by Ragnar. A front wing change will bring Testameister a little bit more into play, but he will still come out comfortably ahead. Any chance of a victory, unless Ragnar gets penalised or pits himself, is gone at this stage for the Ferrari. Where's Testameister through the swimming pool? He's not going to be a threat against Chaz. Chaz will come out in a no man's land, but he will be absolutely furious. I'm going to unplug that, so any feedback you will hear should end. I apologise for that. I completely plumb forgot. 3/10 of a second is between Defstairs and Dougie Afroman there. You can see the move happening as we speak. Drifting to get the move done up the inside. But he gets a little bit of a poor run. Surely that's going to allow the Sauber to have a secondary go. Anything? No, nothing. Doing. Defstairs drifts to get past the Sauber then. Points for style for the Force India through Raskas. Good move. He's just joined that as it was happening, and he got the better run up the inside, up into P6 for the Force India. Controversy. Danny Ibn Lahar will pit, and I'm assuming go on the Hypersofts for a final stint. Or are these Ultra Softs? I'm not quite sure. They're Ultra Softs. No, Hyper's got yellow flags in Sector 2. What's happened? Nothing. So whoever's had an accident has got back on the circuit with relative ease. So Danny Ibn Lahar going on Ultra Softs. I have to say, I'm surprised. Maybe he's just run out of Hypersofts. But Anil Tanovic in the background there is not for position. 1.8 seconds between Defstairs and Dougie Afroman. So that must have been yellow flag. Looks like Defstairs has had an accident and give the position back to Dougie Afroman. That's what the yellow flags must have been for. Crazy. Lot of the chat not happy about that move on Ragnar. We'll have to see what the stewards say, but Ragnar now leads the Grand Prix by 27 seconds. With 5 laps to go, it's all but impossible for Chaz to catch him, like we say, unless Ragnar has an accident himself. But Defstairs is going to have to do this move again. Meanwhile, Kevin Jacobs is closed in on the back of Anil Tanovic. So how's this going to go down? Up to the harbour chicane. Oh! Big accident by Anil Tanovic! Gets involved in Chaz. Almost got involved by that himself. Kevin Jacobs caught in that. Innocent bystander of Anil Tanovic having an accident in the tunnel. Nowhere to go. Chaz so lucky to not be involved in that. That was a massive accident, and it just looked like he understeered into the wall. Fired back across in front. Anil Tanovic DNFs after 35 laps. So close to the finish. No safety car once again. Now we've seen Kevin Jacobs gets a penalty for his troubles. That's unfortunate. We've had a lot of incidents today that should have been a safety car. Niblo's accident causing a huge accident at the Raskas, and Murcielago had a big accident in the swimming pool. A lot of accidents that should have caused the safety car, including that one we just saw, that have caused none. Now, it didn't look like he spun in the hairpin per se in response to Sonic X49. It looks like he understeered into the outside wall, bounced off it, and came across the nose of Kevin Jacobs into the other wall, which took off both front wheels. But just trying to go flat out through there when he didn't have the grip to do it. And it's ended in absolute tears. Now Callum Spencer has closed in on his teammate, but he's got Kevin Jacobs to navigate before he can get to work. Kevin needs to get out of the way here because Callum's closing in on his teammate. Wants an opportunity with only 3 laps left to go, and Callum Spencer's had enough. Dealing with the issue himself, forces Kevin Jacobs out and says, look mate, you need to get out of the way. Does get rid of him, and now Danny Ibn Lahar sets the fastest lap at the Grand Prix. That's what he was pitting for in the final laps then, for a little bit of a consolation prize. 0.8 of a second between Defstairs and Callum Spencer, 1.5 seconds between Defstairs and Dougie Afroman. This is very much the battle to be watching. Defstez has hit the inside wall, just like his teammate did earlier this race, and has spun around at the Hubskin, and that takes him out of the fight. We'll drop him down to P8. His teammate did the exact same thing a few laps earlier. So easy to do, you just turn in a bit too early, and your rear tyre hits that inside wall, and around you go. Defstez's hard work undone, and Dougie Aframan will try fend off Callum Spencer for 3 laps. When a 1.2 second gap. Now, I believe, in terms of tyres, it is advantage Dougie Aframan because Callum Spencer's tyres are 4 laps older. So it's going to be a tough one for Callum Spencer if he can do it. Pushing hard, though. Wants to do it. The top 6 at stake here for Dougie Aframan. How hard will they fight? Now we've seen moves into the hairpin don't work. Kevin Jacobs still very much involved in this fight. Now he's going to have to do it up to the Hubskin. Dougie Aframan goes a little bit wide. Callum Spencer's on the outside, hits that outside wall as a result. Through the tunnel we go. How far is Callum Spencer going to send it? Oh, it's risky. It's a long way back. Doesn't do it. Dougie Aframan cuts the chicane to avoid making contact. But is he going to give the position up? He didn't need to give the position up, but he does. So Dougie Aframan being a bit too courteous for his own good, in my opinion. Don't think he needed to give that back, but he does. Callum Spencer comfortably into P6, but he does have 4 lap younger tyres to Dougie Aframan, so he's got an opportunity to come back. A little bit too polite from Dougie Aframan. Kevin Jacobs is trying to unlap himself, by the way. So this is going to be interesting. Is he going to send it up the inside? Surely not. Dougie Aframan will be feeling flustered here because when you've got a car trying to unlap itself, it's wise just to let it go. But if he's trying to follow Callum Spencer and make amends for that position change, then he can't afford for this car to get in his way. But Kevin Jacobs is on such younger and such softer tyres that he's just so much faster. Dougie Aframan will be wise to let him through. Anatanovic leaves the session. He's seen enough for one day. But he'd be wise to let him through. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. What are those for? That's for Lord George. He's had an accident on the hairpin. Now Dougie Aframan's getting involved as well. And now Kevin Jacobs is getting involved. He's gone straight on, lost his front wing. That's had a domino effect. Kevin Jacobs down the inside for the tunnel. Unlaps himself. All because Lord George's gone straight on with 1 and a bit lap left. He crashes, loses his front wing. And that is what we call in the business a bottle. From Lord George will creep his way back to the pits. That's going to give Danny Ibn Lahar a 4th place. Callum Spencer might get involved and take P5 away from Lord George as well. We'll see what the damage is when he comes in and pits. We have Callum Spencer pitting himself there. Callum Spencer can't make it back. Going to go for the Hypersofts. Lord George staying out. Lord George is staying out with no front wing. He's got 1 lap to do with no front wing. And he thinks it isn't worth pitting. So a very slow lap is going to happen here for Lord George. Now, what can Danny Ibn Lahar close up on him with? Now, he's got to be careful that he doesn't get involved with the leaders because he's got to have no grip for here. And look how slow he goes. And you can see that Ragnar is going to close in on him like there's no tomorrow. Now, he's got to be very careful that he stays out the way. Let Ragnar through on the outside. That's risky. But he's doing it with no front wing. He thinks there's a wise strategy. But Danny Ibn Lahar pits. Danny Ibn Lahar should not have pitted. He would have had P4. In all likelihood, especially with a 10 seconds worth of penalties. And Danny Ibn Lahar pits. He shouldn't have done that. Lord George will hold on to 4th then, I think. Wise strategy. It's all come back in favour of Lord George. The fates have played in Lord George's favour. Staying out of everyone's way. Trying to nurse it home. But Ragnar coming through the swimming pool section for the final time. It's been a controversial win. And it's going to be one investigated by the stewards, I'm sure. But as things stand, until the stewards get involved, Ragnar 184 will take his first win of the season in the Principality. Ahead of Chazza. It's a controversial win, but it's a win, at least until the stewards get involved. And Lord George gets another 5-second stop-go for not serving his stop-go penalty. Danny Ibn Lahar won't catch though because he pitted and he shouldn't have. Controversial win. This is Online Racing Monaco Grand Prix. Chazza will be furious with what's gone on, and I'm sure a steward's investigation will go on. I would like to be a fly in the room when that's in argument between those two goes down. Tester Meister goes wide, almost takes himself out with third place. We'll pick up a podium for Renault. Meanwhile, Galactical 2 is going to finish the race with no front wing, so he's been another victim. And Kevin Jacobs will pick up the final point that Monaco had to offer today. Controversial win. Controversial race in general. But that is 39 laps of Monaco complete. Meanwhile, there is a car that has just crashed in the background. A Force India crashed on the cooldown lap. Ragnar wins controversially. And there you go. 39 laps. Benjamin Daly giving his congrats to Ragnar down there. There is your victory. Champagne gets sprayed. Controversy fills the Monaco Grand Prix, and I'm sure the stewards are at least going to look at some of the accidents we've had today. We've had a lot of accidents, and the stewards are going to be busy. But that's been the Monaco Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, round number 7, we will be heading out, I believe, to Canada to get ready for the next stint of the calendar. And, of course, you can catch us on Wednesday for the FIA GT3 Series, round number 7 as well. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. And until Wednesday or Sunday, whichever one you decide to come and watch, I'll see you then commentating the booth once again. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.